Okay, we're gonna take a look at something which I think is genuinely one of the coolest things I've had to review for a really long time. This is a little gadget called the Smoke Ninja. It comes in this kind of box here, which is actually really nicely put together with everything you need to get going with what is basically a pocket-sized smoke machine, which actually is so much more impressive than you would think. It works incredibly well, and I genuinely believe that pretty much every photographer, every videographer would benefit from having this in their kit bag. Now that's a big thing to say, right? Because it doesn't affect, landscape photography, stuff like that, but this can add so much to things like portraits, to product photography, to food photography. There's a lot you can do with it. It's so small and easy to take around with you. It lasts for such a long time. It pretty much just removes all of the hassle that comes with traditional smoke machines. That's the main reason I don't use smoke machines, apart from a couple of times in the past, just because it's such a massive pain, to be honest, to actually take them with you to the shoot, set them up, plug them in, whatever it needs to do, wait for it to kind of fire up and get going, have loads of liquid on hand. It's a whole thing. It's a million times easier. It lasts for a very long time, and it's actually very impressive. Let's take a look at exactly what it can do. So the actual machine itself comes like this. You have a few different attachments that come with it that you just pop on the top, different sizes for different things as well, right? To turn it on, all you're gonna do is press the actual on button 3 times. It charges up via USB, so you don't have to think about batteries or mains power. The actual charge lasts an incredibly long time as well. And then you've got 3 settings on here, right? Fog, which is pretty self-explanatory. Dry ice, which is a little bit different. We'll take a look at that as well. And steam. Let's take a look at fog first of all. So if I pop this attachment on the top, they just slot in like that. I mean, it's just so easy. You've then got another button on the back. That's all of the controls. So very, very easy to use. And with fog actually on, we can just actually start using this just like this. You would be surprised with the size of this, how much this is able to really start to fill up a space. And actually, even just in here, I'm starting to get a lot of atmosphere, a lot of kind of a certain look to what I'm doing, right? If I was taking portraits, if I wanted to go for a bit of a dramatic, atmospheric look, product photography, this is actually amazing. It's also completely carcinogen free. So it doesn't feel awful to just have this. I'm breathing it in. It's kind of all good. There's no real smell to it, right? There's a tiny smell, but it's not like it's, an overwhelming odor at all. You're just aware that it's not just the normal air, which I think is nice as well. So you don't end up with this really kind of overwhelming scent when you're using this. Now that's the fog setting, right? That can really start to fill a whole space up. But like I say, you've got dry ice as well, which I think is the coolest setting. So this one, we're actually gonna use this little attachment that just slots on like that. Super easy again. This all comes in the box as well. And this one, actually, it's gonna kind of hover, it's gonna kind of linger. So if I do something like this, I can pour this into my hand. This is really cool. We're still getting a lot of atmosphere, still gives a certain feeling to shots you can get, but for this, you could absolutely have this kind of fill a bowl, kind of linger around products. There's a lot that this can kind of do, which I think is really, it's just cool. I mean, apart from anything else, this is fun to play around with, right? It's creative and it's interesting. You can get some really different kinds of shots. And then steam is pretty self-explanatory. It's a lot like the fog, but it's a bit of a thinner kind of look to it. So if we look at this, it's just a much thinner look. It's gonna look like steam. This is ideal for things like food photography, if you wanna make things look very hot, but you don't actually wanna have to have them constantly hot. Food photography can take a long time. It's a great way to add a bit of atmosphere, a bit of steam to that photo. 3 great settings, all totally usable in different ways, really fun. But you get some other stuff in the box, right? So you've got things like the wireless remote that comes with it. You've got some mounts that come with it as well, which are magnetized. You could stick this to things. So, for example, you could have the magnets attached to the machine, right? Have this slightly out of shot and then just use the remote. So you could be behind camera. This is particularly great if you're a one-person operation, right? You don't want to be setting things up, getting it going, then have to run around to the camera. You can have this set up, magnetized to whatever you want, and then just press the button on the remote. This comes set up, ready to go. Let's put it back into fog mode and it works, right? Whichever one you've got it set to. So I've got it set to fog right now. It's just gonna go and go and go and go and go as long as you hold that button, which is super useful. Especially, like I say, if you are a one-man operation, that is such a handy thing to have kind of available to you. Now, one of the things that's bothered me in the past about using smoke machines is just how much liquid you have to have with you. You know, these massive jugs of liquid. This is 1 bottle of liquid for the Smoke Ninja. Now, really cleverly, these come in 100 milliliter bottles. And the reason that's clever, it means it's flight safe. So if you are taking this on a flight, you absolutely can, which is fantastic. And if you can believe this, this is 200 minutes of use. Now you can see how much I've used, and I have been playing around with this so much. It is incredible. I cannot believe that this liquid goes as far as that. And for me, that is such a massive plus for this kit. The size is fantastic, the ease of use, amazing, and then the fact that you can get so much out of it, really, really useful. It's so usable in every way. It fixes every problem I have with smoke machines while still giving me all of the benefits that I like from them, the atmosphere, the vibes, the kind of feeling it adds to the shots. It just feels like a no-brainer, to be honest, to have this in your kit because it's so easy to take around with you. You could just have this on shoots, even if you're not sure whether you're going to use it or not, because it's just not a problem to bring it with you just in case, right? If you're doing a small business promo and it turns out they actually want to show off some food or something like that, great, use the seam setting. Now it's nice and piping hot in the shots. Dry ice can make product shots look particularly interesting, right? It just adds a visual element to your product photography. Great again for all kinds of stuff, even if you're not sure whether you're going to want to use it. This is so much easier to just bring with you than a massive smoke machine. I'm in love with it. I absolutely think it's amazing. And for video as well, it just adds so much atmosphere to your shots. You can make things look really cinematic, make things look really cool. You can check this out over on parkcameras.com. I'll pop a link down in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. But this is definitely worth looking at. Even if you haven't in the past really thought about smoke machines, I think this is worth taking a look at because I just think it's so cool and so interesting and adds so much potential creativity to what you can do, like I say, in photo and video and all kinds of different genres. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to check out parkcameras.com for loads more stuff. We're going to have loads more stuff coming your way as well. Reviews, tutorials, there's loads of stuff coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I will see you next time. But until then, as always, thanks for watching.